Tá pedindo ajuda. Tá pedindo ajuda.
Well, we are nature. There's nothing that isn't nature. Everything is nature. There's nothing outside its realm. And it's really a big mistake that we have been making for a while to separate ourselves from it.
Well, for many years I was working in the food and beverage industry where I had my restaurant. And one morning, this wardrobe that was placed on top of my bed, it fell on my head. And I was basically hospitalized for a month. And, it was the first Friday where I was unable to go to work, for that past decade. And, the boys had to just deal without me in the restaurant. And at the end of that month, I just felt like I needed a change of rhythm. And I was looking for new values.
About 8 years ago, no, in fact, this starts 11 years ago, when a friend of mine, out of nowhere, I had a rock and roll band at the time. I knew nothing about agriculture, nothing about agroforestry or anything. And this friend of mine once told me, out of nowhere, Felipe, there's something that you're gonna like. It's called permaculture.
I'm still trying to understand the human beings. I'm still trying to understand the connection between the urban chaos in relation to us human beings that are integrated in the forestry system, integrated with life as a whole. I confess I still don't understand whether it's the human's purpose to come in and destroy at such rate that we do today. But me as an individual, I have the power of choice, and I choose to cooperate with ecosystems rather than help to destroy.
We're not really stupid as we want to think. We're very intelligent, and we just have to understand that.
Every living being is equipped to fulfill its purpose and leave a positive mark on the planet. Agroforestry is a system of food production where we can conciliate forest and veg and fruit crops. We really are planting forests, but in the early stages, when we really haven't got the large trees and the shade, we're able to produce food and veg in between the tree rows. So it really is a way of consortiums of food production with forestry. The biggest impact I had once I started living the agroforestry lifestyle was really a stress-free lifestyle. Really, it was a mind and emotional benefit I had as an immediate impact. And then I started seeing an impact in my pocket where I wasn't having to go out and buy a quality food produce. We want to eat quality, and quality isn't that cheap anymore. So I was able to bring home quality food in a stress-free work environment as well.
Well, the very basic principle of agroforestry is optimizing resources, and energy. That's a principle that life uses. It's a strategy that life uses to create more life. Because if you think that the earth is a semi-closed environment which has a definite amount of resources, and throughout evolution life has enriched itself by arranging the resources available in a certain way, and it has evolved throughout millennia, throughout millions and billions of years, in a way to create more and more complex forms, and it still is creating more complex forms. And so it's all about managing resources in a way to optimize them. And agroforestry is a way for us to do that, because all the beings, all the species do that, and that's how life enriches itself. So we're basically trying to find our way to do that.
The Academy really is a place where we can be talking and discussing the evolution of agroforestry all around the world. We really want to build a tribe where people can connect and discuss and evolve together. There's so many possibilities within agroforestry, and through the Academy, hopefully we can share these experiences and really promote the use of agroforestry as a way of enriching ecosystems and recovering ecosystems through food production.
And we have the aim or the goal to cultivate sustainable abundance everywhere, or to facilitate the cultivation of sustainable abundance everywhere. So we just want to spread out the knowledge, our experience, and to create means of communication between people interested in agroforestry, or people interested in cultivating sustainable abundance, not only agroforestry. Agroforestry is one tool. There are many others. And we want to not only spread our experience, but we want to exchange experience with others. And so our first goal is that. Obviously there's a lot that's going to happen in the near future that we don't know, but that's what we want, to group people who just want to make a better world through food production.
It's a high price because it's different from everything we've learned ever since we were born. We were taught that we can go into shops and just buy that product. But really, when you have to answer the question of how many % of what you consume do you produce, that's when the impact happens internally and everything changes. And that's where maybe your search will begin as well. Agroforestry is a system of abundance because it's always producing to feed itself. And as time goes on, it's feeding itself more. And you need less input. And as time goes on, the forest really generates its own energy to promote more life. And every being in the forest is equipped to live its life and leave a positive mark energetically wise. Therefore, always accumulating and creating greater abundance.
Sunlight, which is one of the most important resources we have, and it's a key resource for life. And it's optimized by the use of agroforestry because you have more plants. Not only you have more plants in the same area, because you understand how to put plants together in an intelligent way, but with the practice of pruning, you actually increase the photosynthesis level of plants. So you reach, and this has been documented actually, but well-managed agroforestries, they photosynthesize more than native forests. So we're actually absorbing more sunlight than natural forests.
I think one of the main and most important principles behind agroforestry is to cover the soil as nature does in the forest. You know, that abundant leaf coverage and all that wood that drops in the normal forest in the natural state. So really covering that soil, that's really what makes that rich black soil. So through that, you're retaining water, you're minimizing irrigation, you're giving condition for life in the soil, with that shade, with that thermal blanket. If it's too hot outside, it's going to be nice and fresh under the soil. If it's too cold, it's going to be nice and warm under the soil. So really covering the soil, there's so many benefits that I'll consider it as the main benefit, as our main principle behind agroforestry systems.
The magic really happens in interaction and not in elements. It's about the interaction of elements. That's where life happens. That's why I say it's flux. Because life is not something static, it's flux. It's when different elements interact and create change and flux. And then each species has a specific way to manage the resources available and the resources which they were meant to manage. Because each species has different tools to manage resources and they manage different resources. If a panther or a lion, they manage grass-eating animals. They manage the population. Termites manage dead wood. And all of that is about optimizing that resource, because all around us is resource. And I think we're still understanding how to do that properly and how we can best enrich the system with our action. But it's all about managing resource. It's about knowing what to do with a dead branch, or it's about knowing what to do with leftovers, our food scraps. It's about knowing what to do with that. It's about knowing what to do with our feces, with our urine, with our dead bodies that we have. It's all about knowing how to manage resources. By managing them correctly, we can only create more abundance, because that's how life works. Just by optimizing the resources, putting them to right use. Because optimizing the resources is basically putting it to its best place. It's putting a specific resource in its proper place, with its proper function, at the proper time. And that's what's nature doing all the time.
And now I'm able to look at what I can do with all of this and how I can reach more people and help more people have the same lifestyle. So really, I'm really keen to promote the Agroforestry Academy tribe to help more people cultivate sustainable abundance for themselves, their families, and then others, consequently.
My conception of nature is just everything there is. Everything, God, whatever you want to call it, is just everything. It's a flux, it's energy, it's the universe. It's all that's happening all the time and all that's not happening all the time. It's the paradox.
Since once you connect to nature, really, everything's positive and everything is lighter, and you're able to, take it on the chin, the day-to-day problems, knowing that, you're helping to promote life. So really, every little thing is gonna be alright.
Eu já expliquei pra minha professora que por dentro mesmo a gente é um bicho, mas a minha professora não entende. E olha que ela é professora. Aí eu que fico sem entender. Caraca, as pessoas não têm cabeça pra pensar. A gente é um bicho, ué. Um bicho falante, só isso. Todos os bichos são falantes. Só que não falam a mesma língua.